Ой, я скипнула.
Давай еще раз вернуться в главное меню. Нет, это не поможет.
Сори. Там написано было нажмите скипнуть.
Что
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Бля, я бы тоже была счастлива быть у меня в свой кабинет.
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Вперед. Ctrl. Маус и... Понятно. Телефончик, ручки. Что написано? Какие-то документики. Что-то там. Нет никого.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
О, Windows 98. Учила. Какие-то бумажки. Чё? О, раскидали все. Вот там что-то там. О! Так это ж Half-Life. Сейчас туда наверх. И все. Че? Так, понятно. Так, что там? О, там что-то какой-то кабель.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
А если я войду в дверь справа, меня отматерят?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Доска. Я хочу комнату посмотреть.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Если я туда не пойду. А вот туда пойду. Он меня отматерит?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Лол. Где я? Что со мной?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Кто? Кто? У рассказчика, короче, реагирует. Это прикольно. Кто? Вот эта дверь?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
А если я хочу 6 нажать?
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Какими сыновьями?
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Что, подождать надо?
Я не помню.
Часа 3. Не хочу, не буду нажимать. Не пойду на работу, все.
Там можно перепрыгнуть вперед?
А он прыгать умеет?
Нет, не знаю.
Тут это присесть может.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Я думала, она вылетела. Вот это нарратив, вот это я понимаю.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply.
Я, короче, все сделала неправильно, пошла не там, куда он сказал, и он меня вот так наказал, да? Ну, обосраться и не жить теперь. Ладно. Пойду, куда скажешь.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
А дверь можно за собой закрыть?
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it
Я
is, he's
ищу
literally just standing there doing
интерактивные
sweet things.
предметы. Ясно. Вдруг там что-то есть.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ладно. Пойдем в боссис офис. Закрыто. Босяра! Босик!
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Да-да. Понятно.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
О, Господи. Это Outlast?
Портал какой-то.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Когда ты еще, интересно, в обычный рабочий будень окажешься вот в такой херне? Конечно, чувствовал себя
Stanley
не
walked
так.
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Сука, напугал.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
А если я умру, он опять меня заново заставит все делать.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Ну, мне страшно, но интересно.
Я вот не помню вообще. Все окончания.
Чё там? И чё? Ничего? Это ж Half-Life. Я же уже говорил.
As the
О!
machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, it reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley
Так.
can't see the bigger
Тут
picture.
надо...
He doesn't know the real
А,
story, trapped
сесть надо
forever
будет.
in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing
Она
him
такая
instantly.
большая.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
О, кабинет мой. Так. Додики. Две двери. За офисе. Ну, открой. Button sounds. Круто. Интерактивная комната.
О, косынка.
Офисе компьютерс. Ха-ха, вот так вот, понятно? Нехер играть в косынки. Работать надо. Кредитс. Дэйви. И Уильям. Спасибо. Что? А, я думала, там Киану Ривз написано. Это Киван какой-то. Ясно. Уи. The офисе. Ну, там. Ну, а что, если рай выглядит так? Нормально. Это что? Это пусто. Это густо. Это что-то 50-50. Нормальный музей. Кнопки какие-то. Зендинг. Что такое зендинг? Трейлерс. Давай. Спасибо. Сейчас игра на паузе. Так он помер. Митинг-рум. Лаунж. Убей. Дисобей. First choice. Maintenance. First choice. Staircase. The cargo lift. Угу. Это очень странно. За их переписки? From a cool man. Сергей Медведка. I have burning questions. Я думала, burning S сейчас будет. Жопка горит. Are you a rock? Капибарас. А? Капибары будут? Там. Congratulations. Наратор e-mails. Ну тут такой нарратив. Они совсем совершенно могут себя нараторами называть.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time choose.
Ну чё, давай. И что?
Видимо, начать игру сначала надо. Но она все запомнит.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Это
decided to
хоррор
go to the meeting.
какой-то.
Perhaps he had simply missed a
Пиздец
memo.
вообще. Мне снится будет это говно, мне кажется, все вот эти вот двери.
When Stanley came to a set of two
Да.
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
О боже, никого
Yet there
нет,
was
как
not a
же
single
так,
person here
ай-яй-яй.
either. Feeling a wave
Как же
of
насрать,
disbelief,
ой,
Stanley
чувак,
decided to go up to
даже
his
не буду
boss's office,
заходить туда.
hoping he'd come into
А
a
вот если я
staircase.
пойду
Stanley
вниз,
walked
вот
upstairs
так
to
вот
his
вниз,
boss's
вниз,
office.
вниз, 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 вниз. Опа!
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make
Да,
other
вот это
strange
вот что за
observations.
Жигули
For
какие-то
example,
непонятные, девятка.
why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to
Да,
gently
блядь, что за машина?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled
Это Годя
that it
меня
still
пугает.
hadn't woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed
Чё
he
за
hadn't
машина?
asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Ты меня слышишь, мой голос? Объясни, что за тачка стоит.
Who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
Да бля, про машину мне
The
никто не
cool weight
расскажет.
of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Очень психоделичная игра. Чё за тачка? Почему она тут стоит?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body, and then she turned and ran.
Посмотрим, какие задания они там дадут. Я все равно буду ходить туда, куда игра не хочет, чтобы я ходила. Рулбрейкер.
Co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Прохождение 30 часов. Потому что я ходила не туда, куда надо.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Я найду еще способ. Так. Опа! Открылось. Ага, зеркала-то нет? Что? Потому что босс знает.
И что босс говорит, то и происходит. И если теряет он бабло, значит, это босс того и сам захотел.
Это что-то нереальное, видишь, зеркала нет. Спасибо. А прошлый раз я пыталась их открыть, и они не открывались. Что за фигня? Что это? Бедная панда. Сейчас я еще раз проебу. Тут смотрите, сколько вариантов проебать. Ну и чё, сколько ты будешь спускаться? Давай, хватит. А чё? Понятненько.
Stepping into his manager's
Это
office,
приход
Stanley
какой-то.
was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Я еще помню пароль, зачем мне еще раз слушать твой пи***?
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Погнали. Это прикольно, что они учли такой момент. Чтобы человек мог уже вбить пароль. Это угар.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Конечно, погнали.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Пуп. Это не нажимается. Пи-пи-пи. Нажимаем все подряд. Дверь закрыта, говно. Что это за кнопки? 10. Это красная кнопка. Угу. Интересно, если я вот сюда спущусь, у меня будет ничего. Хе-хе-хе. Понятно. Пойдем. Что там написано?
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
И чё?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking,
Насрать!
but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to
Какое-то
do,
шоу Трумана.
or how to feel.
Смотрел шоу Трумана?
Whatever life he lives,
ну, ясно.
it will be his.
Посмотришь как.
That was all he needed to know. It was
Там
perhaps the only
Джим
thing
Керри
worth
играет
knowing.
главную роль.
Stanley stepped through the open door.
Чувак живет примерно такую же жизнь, очень счастлив, очень рад, и потом он начинает подозревать, что что-то все какое-то не то, что все какое-то не настоящее. И он пытается у всех спросить, все ему говорят: ты что, дурак, все нормально. А потом в итоге оказывается, что всю жизнь с самого его рождения про него снимали шоу, и он жил в таком большом, типа, комплексе съемочном. Его там усыпляли и переносили, типа, в другое место, в другое. Типа, его девушка — это не его девушка на самом деле, это актриса там и так далее. И он пытается сбежать, короче, из этой комнаты. Это шоу Трумана.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin. The feeling
Ну, это
of
надо смотреть,
liberation,
конечно.
the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Так. Ой, ачивку какую-то получили. Beat the game. Это что значит?
Пройти игру и победить.
Ага. Ну, я теперь знаю, куда
A
нажимать.
soft
надо.
wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Что? Все же хорошо, он же ушел. Вы чё? Там надо теперь кнопку нажать, только другую. и
When
всё.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he should have stopped by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first
О, какая
open door
красивая,
on his left.
прекрасная комната. Вот туда я выходила, а сюда не.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Погнали. Посмотрим, что тут вообще происходит у вас.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Откройте. Откройте что-нибудь мне. Ладно.
Oh, no, it's to the right.
Да бля!
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
А что тут тачка делает? Вот машина, что тут делает? У меня вопросы по машинам. Опа.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable.
Да дай на кнопку нажму, выпусти меня туда вниз.
We'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time,
Да нет, пусти кнопки меня!
Okay, from the top.
Да бля, нет! Кнопки хочу!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Я хочу, чтобы ты
Stanley
исчез,
decided to go to the
надоел.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Писец, блин.
When Stanley... Wait.
Чё?
What? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game. Refresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Чё? Вот это вот очень мне нравится, открытая дверь. Ты просто открыл все двери, я могу шараю везде, где хочу? Ну, спасибо, молодец, чё.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Да... Пи-пи-пи.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Я уже выучу скоро. С закрытыми глазами. Ну просто идеально, блядь.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we
Тут
just
две
came
двери
from.
должно
Why
быть,
don't we go
алло.
back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Пипец. Издевательство какое-то. Я там на кнопку хотела нажать.
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Бэктрекинг. Ого. О, господи, боже мой. Это что?
Now this... Well, I'll be honest,
The
I don't
Resident
recognize this
Evil.
place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
У меня такое ощущение, это вот когда я, короче, ем, это мои мысли. Я такая, типа, прикольно было бы найти работу. О, небо. Собака вчера шла. А куда она шла? Какая невкусная еда. Хочу шоколадку. Бля, когда стрим? Блин, поспать, может быть. Бля, моя жизнь это вообще говно какое-то. Как классно! То же самое. Просто. Это мои сны, вот, например. Типа, так идешь, все нормально. Хоп, открыл туалет, а там Хогвартс. Типа.
got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help
Adventure
of the
line.
Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Чем мне нравится наверху. Я так и шла. Чё? Тут закрыто было вообще-то. Ладно, погнали.
You see, the line knows where the story is.
Лайн. Почему лайн затеменно?
Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Блять! Я умру, меня эта игра убьет! Я чуть не сдохла! Зачем он музыку включил?
Для приключения.
Пиздец, я чуть не умерла, блин. Как вот мне по стене пройти? Ужас. Уи! Вопросики. У меня к этой игре вопросики, да? Как вы угадали. К разработчику будет уже вопросики. Ну, это клевый нарратив. Это прям такой нарратив. Да ничего не понятно. У меня просто башка взрывается. Я хочу иметь хоть какой-то контроль над этой игрой, но у меня такое ощущение, что игра имеет контроль надо мной. Ну, хорошо, я буду идти по хрени. Так.
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
Чё?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Поворотник.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Я домой, короче. Можно дверь закрыть? Нельзя, да? Угу. О, а вот это да. Кнопку дай нажать.
No, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Я так и думала.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use
Да бля, мы по кругу бегаем!
whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Вообще, конечно. Это хлеще наркоманских снов Макса Пейна.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
А, ну то есть я все правильно делала, да?
So I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait, you know. I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
А можешь сейчас дверь закрыть?
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Ой-ей.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Oh, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Что-то другое написано.
To be rich. Типа быть богатым преступление. Что?
Совершать преступление — это не богатство? Ли.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway.
Ой,
Kill
а как
some
удалить?
frequencies.
Я не туда нажала.
А, ему пофиг. Ну, уже все открыл. Еще красная кнопка в
or
этой, по-моему,
content.
где-то была.
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ну, именно красные, мне кажется, где-то еще были большие. Казалось, значит.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Как все трясется ужасно!
And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Сначала.
Это вообще сначала?
Нет. Телефон звонит.
Чей? Чей?
Ну, видимо, в кабинетах. Да.
Не понимаю.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either.
A wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase,
Я не буду
Stanley
заходить,
walked
если мне просто
upstairs to his
интересно, там оно
boss's
так и
office.
останется, да? Машина, ясно. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money! Crisp. Класс.
Here's the door, just go.
Just go. Чувак уже устал. И дверь закрыта. Короче, это бесконечно. Можно этим заниматься. Я уже не могу реагировать на это как раньше. Тут было прикольно, да. И там экранчик, и в нем экранчик, и экранчик, и экранчики, и экранчик, и экранчики. Если мы начнем игру, это будет типа новая игра?
This is the story of a man named... Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
Нет, это что-то новое.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Короче, это кайфушки, конечно, да я устала.